With all the elements of the puzzle before him, Holmes begins the hunt for the truth behind the daring theft. Sherlock Holmes in the final curtain. At the theater for the last performance of the great violinist, Signor Carini, an announcement is made. The show is delayed. Holmes, an avid violinist himself, is keen to see the master, much to the dismay of his escort, Sergeant Flaherty. Their debate is cut short when the sergeant is urgently summoned backstage. Something is terribly wrong with Signor Carini. It seems the maestro's own genius has become the weapon, ringing down the final curtain before the show could even begin. The great detective Sherlock Holmes arrives at the scene of a mysterious death, ready to examine the victim, a man named Carini. Inside, the air is thick with a foul, yet familiar odor. The police initially suspect suicide by gas, but Holmes is not so sure. His keen eyes soon spot a crucial clue: the shattered remains of a very thin glass vial, the likely source of the deadly substance. Holmes identifies the scent as a form of cyanide gas, which has thankfully dissipated since the room was opened. The police sergeant, however, is quick to dismiss the detective's suspicions, firmly declaring the case a straightforward suicide. He presents his evidence. The room has no windows and was locked from the inside, with the key still in the door. But for Sherlock Holmes, this classic locked room mystery does not point to suicide. He is convinced it was murder. Sherlock Holmes ponders the case, dismissing suicide and suspecting foul play. The theater owner warns him off to avoid bad publicity, while a mysterious figure named Small issues a threat. A puzzled Sergeant Flaherty agrees to assist Holmes, whose instructions are to first retrieve his violin, then visit the city's finest glass blower. At the glassware shop, Holmes admits he is still working through the case as he commissions a peculiar item, a small, sealable vial made of very thin glass. 3 long hours later, the two wait outside a chemical supply house, as Holmes declares the action is about to begin. As Holmes and Sergeant Flaherty discuss the case, a speeding car suddenly bears down on them, forcing Holmes to yell a desperate warning. The vehicle tears down the street, narrowly missing a pedestrian as it makes its escape. Flaherty is amazed that Holmes managed to save a crucial glass vial, but the detective suggests the attack was a deliberate ploy to make him drop the evidence. A few minutes later at the theater, Holmes confirms he will proceed with his plan to play the victim's violin. Unbeknownst to them, 2 assailants are lying in wait with orders to get Holmes. A gunman takes aim from the shadows. The shot strikes the violin case, but Holmes is unharmed. He coolly taunts the unseen attacker, telling their employer to try it himself next time. Sherlock Holmes arrives on the scene, requesting access to the victim's dressing room. Inside, he faces skepticism while observing that a broken door has already been replaced. Holmes proceeds to meticulously recreate the exact conditions of the musician Carini's death, unnerving the men present. One dismisses the demonstration as a childish stunt but is told to stay and watch. The detective then announces he will play the very same musical piece Carini was rehearsing. As the music swells, a witness protests, calling the act insane. Undeterred, Holmes plays the final, fatal note, explaining that its specific frequency was designed to shatter a vial of cyanide. At that moment, a duplicate vial on the table shatters, proving his incredible theory. Sherlock Holmes presents a vibrating vial to a panicked man, who cries out, "Cyanide in that vial." "Holmes, you're crazy." As another man frantically tries to escape, Holmes calmly remarks that his experiment is working. The fear builds in Lyman Small as Holmes plays his violin, causing the vial to vibrate perilously. "It's vibrating. Soon it will shatter," he screams, "stop it." Cornered and believing he can smell the deadly poison, Small breaks down and confesses to the crime. With the confession secured, Holmes reveals his master deception. "That's not cyanide you smell, it's almond oil. It smells exactly like it." An apologetic colleague admits he thought Holmes's plan was madness. Holmes simply smiles, concluding, "It just goes to show you. Sometimes it pays to listen to a fiddle once in a while.